selfish, ambitious, young, black, and gifted. Master P, my masterpiece. That mean I don't got no limits. Bout it, I doubt it. My homies know you ain't ratted. We break you down like a pound. I got it, don't pound us around me. I'm corrupted, flow cold and it's rugged, bumpy. What is up? I'm ready for war. You got to love it like yeah, and it feel like yeah, all day like yeah, all night like yeah, whole squad like what? And it feel like yeah, all day like.
Hey everybody, it's the Coach, and this is Madden 20 on EA Sports. Up next.
Coach, if you've been to South Florida in the summer, and I know you have, you're familiar with this. Heavy rain. It's coming down at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Today, after a crazy opening weekend, it's on to week 2, and we've got a good one here between the Oakland Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. This is taken at his 4. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. First carry for Josh Jacobs. It'll go as a loss of 3 right away, and it's second down.
Nice play right there to stop him behind the line, but I want to see how this defense continues to play him here in the first half.
Yeah, we know. You know better than I. He has the ability to take over a game, so what do you do?
Yeah, I think you have to make sure that you bottle him in at varying levels, because if you crowd everyone to the line of scrimmage, if he breaks through, it's nothing but room to run.
And he is met quickly in the backfield. Down he goes, folded like a lawn chair. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And they're going to face an uphill battle here on 3rd and long.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stop that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down.
They can't stop us. They cannot hold us down.
One thing that I liked about this guy during the draft process was his motor. Of course, I loved his skills, but he plays hard on every down.
And that motor on full display there as he gets his first NFL sack. And this is away. It's a high kick, and he got all of it. Fielded at the 20. Breaks through the contact. That one in the books as a 64-yard punt. And it'll be Dolphin football. Now Connor. And to the 36-yard line, taken down there after getting 8 yards.
Probably a bit of a surprise call there on first down, but how about a tone setter for the drive? Picking up nice yardage, but the big man setting the tone physically.
From the 36, Trubisky. Now Trubisky lost the football. But call it luck or skill, whatever the case is, they're feeling good about just keeping the football there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're calling it now, our ball. I mean, they don't care if it was luck or skill, or the panic that jumps up in your chest when that ball's on the ground. Whether you get it or your teammate gets it, just as long as you retain possession, that's all you're looking for.
And a big 32-yard play on 3rd.
We spent a lot of time talking about what's going on the field. How about off the field with the evaluation? And they spent a lot of time saying, we've got to get a rookie in here who has big playability. And that's exactly what we're seeing here early in his career.
Drafted him in the spring. Here he is early in the fall making an impact. And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. So he can't hang on, and as I watch that unfold, I remembered an expression that I've heard, maybe from you, I don't know, but you're going to get hit anyways, might as well hold on to the ball.
Well, you know a coach said that, right? Yeah. Not an actual player. Not a chance at all. Way easier said than done.
And he's going to be close to a first down as he gets this to the Raiders' 29.
Offensive linemen love creating space for their guys carrying the ball, but when that guy also breaks tackles and creates extra yardage, they almost feel like he's one of them, and they really embrace him.
Now throwing on third down there, but he cannot connect.
I know coaches tell us all the time that having a powerful arm isn't the number one thing they look for in a quarterback. But when you're trying to throw inside routes and you need to put some heat on it, it helps have the big gun. In this case, just a little bit too much.
They'll try and throw for him with Trubisky. He is going to find Hill here. And he'll be brought down with the first down and a late flag here, too. And he may get a few more tacked on for good measure. To give them the yardage on the pass and half the distance to the goal line.
Because they're inside the 30, so now you don't march off the full 15, right? You have half the distance to the goal. In any event, that's precious real estate given up.
So now then the penalty's got him set up with a first and goal. Throwing here, Trubisky. And that is caught. Touchdown, Miami. From 8 yards out, as his guys are able to strike first here in this opening quarter. That touchdown certainly a welcome sight. Remember, they were shut out last week. They talked to us about getting early momentum. Well, here you go in the opening quarter.
Got to rebuild confidence, because when you get shut out, I don't care how strong you are mentally, you've got to take a step back and say, okay, what just happened here? Because nothing that we were doing worked well enough to get into the end zone, and that's a nice confidence-building drive, one that puts it in the end zone to give them an opportunity.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This one taken from the 7. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line.
Let's go.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses.
Without a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone.
Plays like we just saw there, that's why they're up right now. And the defense, they're doing their job.
Yeah, it starts with the guys up front. So when you talk with GMs who are putting together a team, a lot of them say we're going to build from the inside out, because if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the rest of the ball game, and that's what we're seeing here. They're actually playing in the offense's backfield, not necessarily just playing at the line of scrimmage.
Carr going to try and throw on third down. Able to find Walter. That's complete. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. That gain of 9 buys them a new set of downs. Here's Jacobs on first and 10. And running room scarce here. He's going to be stopped in his tracks at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. And the offensive starters here for the Raiders.
In the NFL, we love to talk about bloodlines and how important they can be. And for Zay Jones, he's got a terrific one. His dad, Robert, longtime linebacker in the NFL, big time with the Dallas Cowboys. And his uncle, Jeff Blake, a starting quarterback in the NFL at one point. What if he played catch with Uncle Jeff in the backyard a few times growing up?
And this will be good for a pickup of 9 to the 46. And they'll get 9 there as that sets him up better for third down. The last catch nearly got him a first, but it did not, and they'll try to convert on 3rd and inches. Now Carr on the bootleg. And that will be incomplete. Here's Logan Cook now as he'll punt it away for the second time. He steps into this one, and this is a rocket. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. The Dolphins at the line ready for their next drive. And coming up on their second drive of the game, had the touchdown last time out. Now they have the football back. Chance to really seize early momentum.
Feels to me like they had a really excellent week of practice, that it all came together. But I'll bet you it got galvanized in the locker room in pregame. Somehow I think the head coach, his oratorical skills were on point.
Second quarter from Miami. It's the Dolphins with the football as they've got it with a 2nd and 10. The stop for no gain brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20. And now a carry here for their fullback. chunk of yardage there, 37 yards.
There's a lot of good on that play when we see the big fella take it and rumble into the secondary. But how about the big part of it, taking care of the football? He doesn't carry it very often, but when he does, he's got to make sure that he doesn't get it popped free. Unlike Mike Tolbert in Super Bowl 50, carrying the ball popped free, turnover, and it hurt his team.
Back in the end zone, could he get his feet down? No, it's incomplete. So second down, still 10 yards to go. Ball on the 43. Here's Trubisky. Going down the middle, and it's complete. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle comes at the Raiders' 15-yard line.
I think it all came together there. In-breaking route, drove it with excellent pace. Money throw right there to move the sticks.
From the red zone now, here's Trubisky on first down. He's got it. Touchdown, Dolphins. A 15-yard touchdown grab. Now the Dolphins are able to extend that advantage. And in the red zone, I guess this is why you have a guy like that on your roster.
Without a doubt, and if you have him, you use it because he's a guy who's going to win just about every time.
It took them an extra look, but they found out it is a touchdown indeed. The official says this one counts. Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now the Oakland offense heading back onto the field to take over. And this not an easy situation. You're down early, in the elements, you're on the road. How do you get the mojo back?
But one thing is to remember that as an offensive player, you have a much better idea of what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go than the defender. So in this case, because you know it, you can make your cuts with a little more decisiveness. Maybe a second fake, some double moves, things of that nature to go ahead and try and put some pressure on the defense.
Carr with a play fake to Jacobs. He'll let this go deep for Sutton. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. Picked off near the 42. And they will finally get him down as he's on the way to the 36-yard line. And he may want to track down that football because that's interception number 1 on his career.
You're saying that's going into the trophy case?
I'd put it there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That's when you ask the equipment guys to make sure they hold it for you after the game. But if you play in the back 7 on defense, that's part of your job, finding ways to take the ball away from the other team.
And he won't get much. Maybe a couple. Down inside the 35 to the 34.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. A well-executed safety blitz by Tony Jefferson leads to the sack. Now Trubisky on 3rd and long. And that is incomplete. More problems here on 3rd down. They've converted only once so far in this first half.
And you know as well as I do in this league, if you don't win on 3rd down, it makes it hard to win a ball game because then you're relying on your defense, you're relying on your special teams. You've got to get it done with your offensive unit.
A 60-yard attempt.
And this kick is not going to be close. It's well short, well right to boot. And this score will stay right where it is. It's not too often you see a holder putting that football down right on the midfield stripe. 60 yards, Charles, but a little bit too much to bite off there.
Yeah, it's good to show confidence in your kicker. That might have been just a little bit too much. I'll guarantee you, as you just noted, putting it down on the midfield stripe, the holder's thinking to himself, that's a long way. Probably not as confident as well.
Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. From midfield, here's Carr. And that's off the mark, incomplete. Fair to say, hasn't been his best game throwing the football, but also not getting a lot of help out there either.
Yeah, you nailed it pretty well, you know. He's got to throw it better. Got to get more help. Obviously one that should have been caught. They've got to find a way to bring those two elements together so they can make some progress in this one.
Got his man complete over the middle. That's Jacobs. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. He'll get a couple yards on that one, and that'll bring up 4th down.
One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. Here's Logan Cook now as he's on to punt for Oakland. 46 on his first kick. This one in that neighborhood as well. And that'll hit in the end zone. Much too much leg there. That'll be a touchback. A look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. A good job in the passing game, decent job in the running game, but really they've been more effective through the air. We'll see if that shifts at all as this goes on.
Thus far, it feels like they're calling this game in reverse. Normally you run to set up the pass. Here it feels like they're passing, hoping to set up the run and be more effective later on in the game.
Yeah, you can do it both ways. We usually talk about it in the reverse, however.
No doubt about it. When we see those runs to the perimeter, when we see those runs to the edge, we think about big breakers, don't we? In this case, it was a modest gain, but it does open up possibilities here on 2nd down.
Hey, wahoo!
On 2nd and 7, Trubisky. Got a man open. That's Devontae Parker complete. And he'll get to the 29-yard line, brought down there. The reception good for 7. It's 3rd down.
One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Now a 3rd down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
You hear the calls for a penalty, but I just don't think so. I think in this situation, the defender was making sure his guy couldn't hold on to the football. So I don't see anything that warranted a flag.
No, I'm with you. There was contact, but I'm happy they kept that flag in the back pocket. And great special teams work here. This is knocking on the door of the 5. They'll spot it at the 6-yard line. So they'll play the field position game here as a very nice punt is going to pin them back.
Yeah, it's almost like watching a game of tennis, or do you prefer ping pong? You know, back and forth like that? That definitely was excellent, wasn't it?
There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. They haven't been able to get him on track. They haven't been able to get this offense on track. No points so far.
Maybe it's time to start doing a few different things. Throwing the ball a little bit, maybe featuring other people touching it for a while.
And now this is intercepted. My goodness. Picked off by Xavier Howard. And they will take over at the 26-yard line.
Well, there definitely was some juice on that pass. And while tight ends don't always have the same reputation for hands as wide receivers do, in this case, that ball was expected to be caught.
They'll run on 1st down. Pollard. And down inside the 15, shy of the 10. Give him 15 yards on that one, and the Dolphins have a 1st down.
Tremendous blocking by the interior of the offensive line. They didn't just gash him there. They blasted a gaping hole for him to gallop through. I think if he comes back to the huddle, he better be giving them a whole lot of credit and thanking them for that much space to rumble.
And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. A reminder coming up at halftime, we'll head to Orlando. Standing by there, Jonathan Coachman. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL in this 2nd week of the regular season. Here's Trubisky to throw. That one complete to Hill. And here he'll get it down to the 7. That throw good for 4. It's 2nd down.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Throwing again on second down. Trubisky. Flush to his right. And that is caught. Touchdown, Miami. A 7-yard touchdown grab. And the Dolphins are able to extend that advantage. This offense certainly looking a lot more comfortable here at home. They lost last week in the opener on the road, but there's something about that home opener makes you feel more settled. Yeah, I wish we could quantify it, too, because you're playing the same game. The field's the same, size. We know all of that. But being at home, sometimes when you do things well, you get that extra push from your home fans, and it elevates your game. And in the driver's seat right now, Sanders on for the extra point. And again, it's no good. A few boo birds coming out as he's missed his second extra point here in the first half. So with the missed PAT in his rearview mirror, he goes back out to kick this one off. This will be fielded on the back line of the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Derek Carr getting ready to go again on offense. He and his team, they have had a rough go of it here in this first half. Maybe time for him to put his foot down here in the second quarter. Put his foot down and become a little more accurate throwing the football. He's already thrown 2 interceptions. He's trying to find a way to equal things out. And instead of it going to the opponents, get it to his own receivers and find the end zone. Yeah, you mentioned those 2 picks. No touchdown passes yet either.
Watch the pass. Watch the pass.
Try to shake off the interception. He'll look to throw. And his throw is incomplete.
This defense has been very disruptive early on as they force another one to go awry.
Seems to be the front and the back end. Pass rush, they've been able to get home, and they're taking the ball away in coverage as well.
I love how you put it together. The front and back working in sync, only way to play good defense.
Now Carr, after the incomplete pass, brings him up 2nd and 10. Throwing again. Carr. Oh, he dropped it. They were looking for him in the middle third. He couldn't catch it. Now 3rd down.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they didn't completions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give them another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the first down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. On 3rd down, here comes Jacobs. And he's going to be brought down short of the first at about the 31-yard line. It's a pickup of 6, but it's not going to be enough. And the punt team's going to be summoned on 4th down.
I think we can safely say that those types of plays are the backbone of this offense. We know not every run's going to be a big hitter, but you know they'll take that type of result on each and every attempt.
Here's Logan Cook now. He's been one of their few bright spots so far. His first punt, 48 yards. This one looks equally as good. And he fields it cleanly. 12 yards on the return that time. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. An update from that game going on in the Meadowlands. It's the Bills with an early lead over the Jets. And I would definitely imagine we'll hear more from that game as we go along. A little over 20 seconds remaining in the half as they'll line up here 1st and 10. They'll indeed start on the ground to run that clock. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8. So we reach halftime, an abbreviated halftime show as we get rolling to quarter 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This one taken from the 7. Solid return, pretty good field position. They'll start at the 32-yard line. Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. They built a good first half lead. Now they have a chance to add on to it.
And what I'm thinking is that the offensive staff spent the entire halftime just working with them on, here's what we think they're going to do to attack us in the second half. Nice first half that we've had, guys, but be prepared for some change-ups. We're going to see them when we kick it off in the second half.
See how they handle any adjustments that might be made defensively. They'll run it here. This is their fullback getting the carry. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. A second down play results in a loss of 2 yards.
Well, he tried to bounce it outside, but that's obviously not his game. He's too much of a straight-line runner.
Yeah, him in the outer third of the field, not a recipe for success. That time a loss. On third down, Trubisky. Off the right side here, complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50. 18 big yards on that one, and a Miami first. And, boy, they had high praise for this rookie receiver when we asked the coaches about him, didn't they?
They certainly did, and obviously they liked his measurables, otherwise they wouldn't have brought him onto the team. Height, weight, speed, all of that. But how about what they really said? Competitiveness. That's what they really liked about him. The way he goes after the football, competes for it, and decides when it's in the air, it's his and only his. And plays like that are exactly what this defense needs here early in the second half to give it a little spark. I think their halftime adjustments, what they talked about, maybe it's just a little inspiration.
Pressure comes, and Trubisky goes down. Kyle Van Noy, the outside linebacker, coming up to drop him for a loss of a full 10 yards.
They need stops to get back into this game, and here's one right to start the third quarter.
Yeah, anytime you go to the lockers with that 2-3-score deficit, you're right. You need that stop, get the football back, and they've done just that.
Series to series, play to play.
Able to get away. Shrugs him off. Legs still churning.
Like a giant pinball.
Looking. This is caught inside the 15. And all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Devontae Parker, his first touchdown of the new season. And the Dolphins are able to extend that advantage. As a former DB, you might not like to see them, but from a wide receiver's perspective, those are the plays they dream of.
Correct on both counts, all right? Because once he took off, I mean, let's face it, that should have been done in Big Sky Country. Aren't any speed limits out there? And off he went. Glad I wasn't the one trying to chase him.
And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. So here comes the Raiders offense getting ready for their first possession of the second half. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. They'll stay on the ground with Jacobs. And they're going to get him behind the line yet again as his nightmare afternoon continues. It'll be a gain of 5, and it's going to bring up a third and about 7 left. These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. Throwing there, but this pass is going to wind up incomplete.
Well, his struggles continue. Open targets, and he keeps missing them, pressing way too much. He may have a big arm, but until he learns how to harness it and have some touch, he's going to continue to struggle.
Fielded just inside the 20. Call that 49 yards on the punt. They do get 7 back on the return. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that. They had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory.
That he will go down outside of the pocket for a sack. Tried to get away, but could not. Cleveland Farrell able to collapse the pocket, get to him, and drop him for a loss of a yard. After the sack here, 2nd and 11. Trubisky will throw. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down. And Charles, got to like what this defense has been able to do these last couple of plays.
Yeah, they get the sack on 1st down, then they force the incomplete pass. Now they're just a play away from getting the football right back, but it's a big play. They've got to hold up.
From the gun on 3rd down, it's Trubisky. And he can't quite pick it. No interception so far. That probably should have been their first, but at least it's 4th down.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And now Oakland ready to take the field. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
I think it's pretty evident. We can say what a difference a week makes. Last week, he ran pretty much wild, didn't he? Did pretty much what he wanted to do. But this one, they stopped him cold. That, to me, that's good scouting and even better execution.
Yeah, and they stopped him behind the line right there. They obviously watched the tape a few times and made some adjustments.
Tight end has become a bigger and bigger part of the passing game in the NFL, but if you drop the football, that position could get swapped out with a wide receiver in that spot, a running back in that spot. There are other ways they can go if you're not going to catch the ball.
And that's not just his first drop, his 2nd drop of the game. Throwing now is Carr. And that'll wind up incomplete. Bold play call there. Now it's 4th down.
Credit the secondary and credit the defensive game plan. They've been in his hip pocket all game long. They understood coming in that he was a big-time receiver.
Here's Logan Cook now. He's been terrific so far. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. Well, he wasn't too far from breaking that. Officially, give him 15. Out comes the Miami offensive unit now. They get set to take over. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? They score here, especially a touchdown. It's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly, because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team. That their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
It's still 3rd quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Give him 3 on the run there. Now they're looking at a 3rd and about 5.
3rd quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Just watch 88 over there. Just watch 88.
From the shotgun is Trubisky. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And he's got the 1st down yardage before being taken down at midfield. He's been big, 2 touchdowns earlier. Now he's got a 1st down here. And this should be the final play before the quarter ends. On 1st down, Pollard. And he'll go down, and that will do it for the 3rd quarter of action. Back now in Miami. A lot of happy faces in the crowd at this point as their guys have a big lead here to start quarter number 4. Stepping up, he's going to keep it. And able to break 1 tackle, but then quickly brought down. Only a yard there on the keeper, and that's going to leave him with a third down.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one, because when you run him on short gains, the risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
Call it a gain of 4, and it'll bring up fourth down. Here's Matt Hawk now as he's on to punt for Miami. Now the Oakland offense heading back onto the field to take over. And let's face it, this drive is not going to have any bearing on this game, but it's kind of important for one reason, isn't it?
It certainly is. You got to get points. And, okay, all right, I'm being facetious here. But you get points, you feel a little bit better about yourself as you move on to the next one.
10 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be second down. So not quite a first down just yet as they come up on second and less than a yard. Carr defers to Jacobs on the draw. Try to find a lane, but instead he'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. They'll say no gain on the play, so it was looking good, but nothing there, and now it's third down and inches. Once again, it's Jacobs. And this has been a familiar sight all afternoon as they stop him behind the line. That'll back him up 2 yards and also bring up fourth. This linebacking core, they've done a good job of keeping that running game in check, haven't they?
They certainly have, and what they'll also do when this game is over is thank the guys up front, the big defensive line, because they've kept them clean, so to speak. Not letting blockers get to them, allowing them to run to the football and keep that running game bottled up.
Getting set to go again as we look at the back, heading onto the field again. And there are the numbers. Got off to that torrid hot start. We thought he was in for maybe a career day. Not the case.
No doubt about it. It almost looks like a misprint after what we saw in the first half. But let's give a little bit of credit to the guys on the other side of the ball. They went in at halftime, made a few adjustments, and you know what else? They didn't lose their confidence in their ability to play. Because a lot of times you get beat down in the first half, it gets ugly in the second half. They've come out with a new resolve and a renewed determination.
Now Trubisky to throw. Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Kyle Van Noy able to get in there for his second sack of the afternoon.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
The throw over the middle, taken in, and able to rip off a big chunk of yardage before being dropped inside the 40. A first down there on a pickup of 25.
When you have someone throwing it that well, that confidently, you don't have to call the game in fear at all, do you? You just go ahead and play.
Yep, confidence with a lead to throw it here in the fourth, and boom, he's on the money.
Yeah, you don't have to tuck your head in and take him look like turtle at this point. You just go ahead and play.
Now a throw here to his running back. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. This game not quite as good as the last, but still over 40 yards between the two. So the Dolphins have it as we welcome you back in. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. They'll run with Pollard, and they'll get him down right around the 16. Kyle Van Noy in on the stop.
Partner, we know today's NFL is really built around the guy throwing the football. But these short runs, they still pay dividends because they can take their toll on a defense, and they can add up as the game goes along. You control the clock, you control the ball, and that way you often control the game.
Now, meanwhile, here's a second down throw that's knocked away and incomplete. They head to the line facing a 3rd and 7 following the incompletion on second down. And he's got it. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals.
Things are rocking easy here in the fourth quarter. They've got to feel pretty good about this one. Actually, they've got to feel excellent. Tough loss in the opener. No way they wanted to go 0-2.
I don't want to read too much into it, but psychologically, is there something much bigger about 0-2 than 0-1?
Oh, without a doubt. And here's the biggest one. Guys like you and me, all the media, are going to talk about, well, you know how hard it is to make the playoffs when you start 0-2, and that starts to work its way through a team.
And now they're working towards 1-1. Now he's back out there to boom this one away, maybe with some frustration after the PAT miss. This is fielded at the goal line. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Now the Raiders offense, they get set to head back on the field. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest,
don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Exactly. Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. And never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling again.
No, you don't want that feeling again. And who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
One play has him up past the 40 already, and another 1st and 10. Carr now to throw. Now they set up the screen. That's complete. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. Give them a 1st down, 15 yards that time for the Raiders. The Raiders going to use one of their timeouts as the clock will stop with just under 30 seconds left to go. Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. Working from the gun, it's Carr. He's going to let it fly. And he's going to be intercepted a 3rd time. Able to get there and pick it. And they get the football, but not much on the return here as he stopped at the 7-yard line.
So many times we end a game, and as we're recapping it, we're talking about what offenses did and how they won the game. Let's flip this one over. The defense, they frustrated the offense the entire ball game. That's why they're walking out of here with a victory.
And they're going to love to walk out of here with that as their final act, that interception. Good way for them to end it. So a victory here for the Miami. Not as good as it gets. They were